G'day, g'day, welcome, welcome. Guys, I thought we'd try something different. This is World of Warcraft. If you guys have played it, awesome. If you haven't, it's an MMO, which means massive multiplayer online role-playing video game. Essentially, there's two factions. You've got Alliance here on the left-hand side, and you've got Horde on the right-hand side. These factions hate each other, essentially. They're at war with each other all the time. So if you play as Alliance, you can't, if you've got friends on Horde, you can't play with Horde. Unless you're running dungeons and stuff like that together, but we'll get into that later. Essentially, this video, this series, I thought it'd be kind of cool to do a bit of a guide. You know, I've been playing this game since the vanilla release, which is the very, very first one. I'm definitely not a pro at this game in any way, shape or form. You know, you can get very technical with this game. I've seen a lot of guides out there and it's very like, oh, you have to have best in slot gear, and you know, it can get very potentially toxic. It can also be very confronting for new players or people that, you know, tanking and healing are two of the main things that you do in a dungeon, a raid, anything like that. So a tank is essentially you are taking all the damage, all the aggro from all the enemies. They are attacking you all the time. The healer job is to obviously keep everyone alive, heal everyone, health, all that sort of good stuff. There's a lot more to it, but that is the basics. And yeah, it can be very confronting for people playing this game. You know, oh, I don't want to be a healer because, you know, I don't want to let the whole team down, the whole dungeon down, and have to reset. So this is my guide. I thought it'd be interesting. I'll show you guys what I know, what I've sort of figured out. We're going to do it in the most basic way possible. You know, most of the guides that you see, people have like a gazillion add-ons and stuff to help with the game, and it can get very confusing because it looks quite intense. You know, they're pushing buttons and there's a lot going on the screen. So we're going to try and keep this one as simple as possible. So it's going to be a bit of a guide, bit of a series, but more or less it's just, you know, I'm going to play the game. We're going to go from level 1 to max level. We're going to do some dungeons along the way. I'll show you how to level, show you what the different spells do. We're going to be playing as a Tauren Druid, which is currently ranked, if you're into that sort of thing, is currently ranked on Wowhead in the S tier, which is a top tier for this new season that's currently come out. I thought it'd be a good way to show you because Druids are pretty versatile with their spells and all that sort of stuff, and there's a lot to do with their talent system. But we're going to try and keep it as basic as possible, guys. So hope you guys enjoy it. We'll go all the way down. We'll do some mythic dungeons right at the end game. Hopefully, you know, I'll try and cut in and out of the episodes so it's not too long for you. So here you've got the starting zones. You've got the one on the left is Exile, which is like the newest sort of tutorial island. The one on the right is Vanilla. So you start in the Tauren village, you do all the quests there, level up the old-fashioned way. We're going to do Exile Reach because it's just a little bit easier.
You are a soldier of the mighty Horde. A disparate band of races united in their pursuit of freedom, honor, and glory. A Horde expedition sent to explore an uncharted island has recently gone missing. As a bold new recruit, you have joined a rescue mission departing from Orgrimmar. Find the lost expedition members and bring them home. For the Horde!
Alrighty, so I've kept tutorial one obviously so you guys can see what's going on as well. So it's pretty standard, WASD, spacebar to jump around. Obviously to look around, use a mouse button.
Look sharp, recruit.
I have got a couple of add-ons that I will go through later and I'll obviously turn off so you guys don't get confused. Let's actually just do this now. Add-ons, disable. Nice. So there you go, guys. So I've turned off all my... I do have a couple of add-ons on, but I've obviously turned them off just for now. So I don't have a lot of add-ons to do. So obviously you go... This is all tutorial questing.
For the we need to be ready for
so here, right down here is your spells. So we've got obviously one spell to start with. So we got Wrath, which is a pretty basic spell. You can obviously click on it, or you can click the number that represents the spell. It's all pretty self-explanatory. Here we've got a racial ability, which comes with only the Taurens, which obviously stuns people. Not super helpful as a healer, but you know, you can definitely use it. in definitely situations.
Fine work. Next week. Rain?
Most of this episode will probably be me showing you guys tutorial islands, and then obviously going through because obviously you have to do the tutorial island to unlock all the little books and stuff that you can actually do. So I'll probably skip through some of it. You can watch me do some of it, and I'll just talk you guys through the tutorial. Really, that'll be the first episode.
Never run from your foe. Victory or death.
So you have to face. So if we face behind him, see it says target needs to be in front of you. So we have to be facing our target all the time. And you can customize quite a lot. You can right click on your little portrait here, which is your health and your mana. Mana is like, you know, how much, you know, 50 mana or whatever costs to cast a spell. So it's kind of like your resource.
We will save the expedition.
But if you right click here, you can do all sorts of cool different things, dungeon difficulty, all sorts of cool things, which we'll worry about later in the game.
I'm here to help. Stand strong, stand proud.
So right here it says we've got a new spell. So we've got to drag and add it into our little action bar down here.
Stay focused on our mission.
For everyone that's played vanilla, that sound of those little murlocs screaming is nostalgic as.
We need to regroup at once.
So now we've done a little bit of the prologue. You can see we've got some more spells down here. We've got, you know, character info. It's where all your gear. There's obviously different tiers. Some gear's better than others. Different abilities. Pretty standard. You've got, obviously you can select titles. I've got a few unlocked. Yeah, there's a few things we can do. I'll change that actually.
We won't rest until the expedition has been recover our supplies.
So you got warband collections down here, guys. This is like transmog. So you can obviously, if you unlock something, you can then pay money to make your character look like that, which is kind of cool. So you've got heirlooms. Heirlooms are like, so right now I'll equip some of these heirlooms because they will boost characters. You know, like boost my character with increased XP gain, do a little bit more damage. It's mainly just for starting out as a character. It just boosts you a little bit quicker. So if you guys look here, see how rested experience is green? So that gives you a set bonus. So it's just, if you're leveling another character, it makes it incredibly quicker by having these heirloom items. To get these heirloom items, you have to obviously play on another character and unlock them by going to a vendor in Orgrimmar or by doing some time walking stuff, but we'll get into it later. I'm not going to go too like heavy into the game. I'll show you guys the basic mechanics. You know, we'll try and keep it on point with being I'm just here to show you guys how I would do some healing and level up. You know, that's sort of what the guide's going to be. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. But we'll kill these murlocs and just keep going on with it. There are obviously mounts in this game when you get level up, so you can actually get on like a mount and ride around a little bit quicker. Get a couple of them. We can handle a couple. So I use this war stump. See, it stuns him. It's pretty handy. It's good for crowd control. There you go, we've got our first level up. So we go over to talents. We've got regrowth, which is our first healing spell. We'll stick that over here. And obviously you get spells as you level up, and you've also get, when you get eventually a higher level, you'll get talent trees where you can spec into certain things like DPS, damage, you can be a tank, You can do healing, and then you spec into different
Stay
spells
focused on our
with
mission.
using points that you get when you level up. So it's all pretty stock standard stuff.
Danger surrounds us.
Cool.
Don't let
Kill
your
these
guard
guys.
down.
My thanks.
But this tutorial
We'll
island is
find
just a
the
little bit quicker,
expedition yet.
which is a nice way, because the other one was fun to do, but it's pretty grindy.
Quite the storm. Probably hit the first boat too.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
The Horde leaves no one behind.
There's our map.
You three, search for more.
So I'll quickly show you guys this. For me personally, you know, add-ons are good for doing dungeons and that sort of stuff later on in the game, and you don't have to have a million of them. They're very easy to download, very easy to install. But for the base game, like the basics, if you go into options here in your menu, you've got action bars, which is what these are right here, okay? So what I always do, and I really like doing, is you click all these and see how action bars are starting to pop up. So now if we want to, we can put spells there. So you can obviously have bars right up here. I don't like doing the bars here because they sort of, I don't know, it's kind of annoying, but it's your preference, your game. You guys do what you're comfortable with. I like doing these bars. And then here I've got shift key. So the only way I can move these spells is if I hold shift down and move it. That's really handy because when you're clicking around trying to heal and cast a million different spells, very handy that you don't move your spells accidentally. Very, very handy. So for me personally, guys, I like to give, you know, sort of split these bars into certain sections. So healing, I try and keep, you know, if I'm going to do healing spec, which is obviously what we're going to do, I'll try and keep them down here. So, you know, you have your damage spells a bit further down. So when you click on a target, you can smash one, instantly heal straight away. You know, instead of having to click, you can just click once, or you can click on a little break here and cast the heal straight away, which is really, really handy. So I like splitting these up. So, you know, one section might be, you know, so we got here, that's a spell that we technically cast on ourselves. So we might have here all the spells to boost our stats, for example. So I'll go through this a bit later when we have some more spells, but that's just sort of the general idea. These action bars are very, very, very handy. Very handy.
Said you'd be coming.
And if you didn't know about it, it's almost game changing.
Nothing could keep me from her.
So see how we have to click this?
Soldier of the Horde. She
It's not
knows
too bad.
we leave no one behind.
So we're only just beginning, so it doesn't really matter too much where you put these. It's just good to get in the habit of obviously putting them there. So right now I'm not having to click anything, I'm just pushing like the keys, obviously where the spells are. So 3, 2, and obviously 1 as I hear the spell. So being an instant spell Moonfire, you can cast that on multiple people. And then you can cast your Wrath, which will do extra damage. Okay, cool. So we've got another spell called Entangling Roots. So for me, in the action bar, anything that's like stops the enemy's movement, or you can cast, or an interrupt spell, it goes here. For me personally, that's where I'll put it. But you guys can put it wherever you would like. It's just preference. Whatever you're going to be used to, what you think is going to be best for you guys.
Ambushed by the Quillboar.
But I would definitely recommend imagine there's a line, you know, one section's for this, one section's for that, another section over here is for a certain other spells. If you do that, that will really help you guys out when you get into doing dungeons. Really, really help you out.
Recruit.
Because you'll know, okay, cool, all my self-heal spells are in this section up here, you know, for example. So
in battle.
It's very handy to know.
Your next
Alright, so we have to do what she wants us to do. She wants us to cast Moonfire. Then we use Wrath.
Moonfire will damage your opponent over time. Use Wrath while your foe is affected by it.
So it's all pretty self-explanatory, guys. The tutorial does a pretty good job of giving you guys the base mechanics.
Moonfire is wearing off. Enough. You're ready to fight the Quillboar. Now we rescue our brethren.
And obviously being a druid, guys, I don't know if you might know this, you may not know this, you can obviously get different forms and you can transform into a cat, a bear, and those forms mean different things, you know. So the cat form is DPS, could be travel, you know, you can run around a little bit faster. The bear form is primarily a tank form. Being a druid, we can be all three specs. So we can be DPS, healer, or we can be a tank. So the bear form is primarily the tank form, and it's going to come with its own unique abilities. Same with the cat form. And for DPS form, being druid, we get two. So we have another form called Moon King, which is another DPS form. And every form has its own set of unique abilities, which is really cool.
The eternal sun guides us. Remember the day you met me.
Ooh.
Keep yourself safe.
Here you go. So we got our first cat form. Bang. So when you go in your cat form, all the spells get moved out, so you can move in all your new cat abilities. Essentially.
I saw no sign of her. Perhaps she evaded
So we don't need to
capture.
put. So if you try and put Moonfire in here, you will cast it, but it'll take you out of cat form. At least in the beginning, anyway. Cool. You notice our resources change, so now we've got energy instead of mana, which is obviously a different sort of resource pool. Like I said, I'm not going to try and go in too depth with you guys. I'm going to try and keep it as basic as possible. Yeah, we'll get through this tutorial island, and I'm just going to show you the basics of the game. We're going to be playing on the new expansion, War Within. Obviously the new Season 2, obviously. Do the stun. See, the stun's very handy. But yeah, we'll play on War Within. Should be really interesting, really easy to do. I have played through it a couple of times on a couple of other characters that I've maxed out. It's good fun. But I'm not going to go too much into, you know, the quests and the story of War Within. I'll leave that for you guys. This is more of a, you know, healer guide. So.
The Geolord will not lose.
We'll definitely do some interesting things. Okay, so we've got a new piece of gear. So it tells you how to equip it, drag it, click it over. Awesome.
Intruder!
And that's why I always bet on the Horde.
Absolutely smashed him. Over here's a little chesty chest. Cool.
You must be Warlord Brekka, Soldier's
Nice.
mother. She always said you'd save our hides.
We're not safe just
Well, I'm
yet.
going to do a couple of these
Where are
quests,
the
guys,
others?
and then I will cut
It's
back
no idea. But
once we've
I
done a
got
few of
way
these
to
quests and
find
tutorial on.
this
I won't
tiny
bore you with all the
version of
quests.
The Choppy Booster Mark V.
We'll try and
Just
keep
let me
these
enlarge it.
episodes a little bit more on
Okay,
point.
might have overdone it a bit. Hold on.
That's better. That's better. Yes.
Ah, ha, ha, perfect. It ain't pretty.
There we go,
It's the
dash.
job
So
done.
that's a cat ability. So I'll put that like that. Right, let's jump on it.
We will take your soul and raise the dragon from the dead.
Cowards! Soon you will face the full might of the Horde!
Ha! Our dragon will crush them. We have other rituals to oversee. Savor the final moments of your life.
Alrighty, guys. So I've done a lot of quests. It's not really a long tutorial island. It's probably about half an hour max. It doesn't really take long as long as you know obviously what you're doing. You've done it before. Done all the quests. We're just returning in the last few. Just looking at the spells, seeing what else we have. So we got war bands here. So if you've got other characters, that's considered a war band. So if you've already discovered a map, you can just rediscover it straight away. It's a very, very nice mechanic. You don't have to redo everything when you start a new character. This next quest is like an introduction to the dungeon mechanics. It's pretty good. It's pretty easy. There's a couple of other random players here, so we'll probably end up doing it with them. But it's really an introduction to what a dungeon will be like, mechanics-wise, and that sort of cool stuff. So there's your dungeon finder. We click on Darkmaul Citadel, obviously instantly find one. We click on a little dungeon finder down there, and then we accept it and join. So it's I'll go into more detail when we actually go and do it for real. This is just sort of an introduction.
While you strike them down.
So it's pretty standard. So that spell I just used is Mark of the Wild, so it gives everybody like a bit of a stat boost, more health, more mana, more damage, all that sort of cool stuff. So I've clicked on her, I've just cast that healing spell because she obviously did a little bit of damage. On the top left you can see the other characters, so you can see I'm getting absolutely maxed out here. So I'm just going to heal myself, go into my bear form. So when I'm in my bear form, I take a lot of reduced damage. I have a lot more health. So this is why druids are really, really good, because you can just instantly go into bear form if you're getting really destroyed by a target. So they're very, very versatile, very, very good.
Almost all of them.
And even as a healer, when we go into healing spec, you can still go into your bear form if you want, which is a nice touch. But yeah, I'm just boosting everyone up now, making sure everyone's got full health. So she's taking a little bit of damage there. We'll get this guy first. I usually have it set up a little bit differently, so I'll show you guys probably that in the next video. This is all just the stock standard when you first load into the game. You can't really change too much, but you can make those icons in the top left a little bit bigger. You can move them around to make it a little bit easier for yourself, which is kind of cool. Makes it a lot easier to see as a healer. Okay, they're taking damage. Oh, they're taking damage. You know, or oh, they've got a poison effect on them. Cool, so we'll try and deal with that, you know, so it makes it a lot easier. So this is like their version of a mini boss, or one of the bosses I should say, in this prologue dungeon.
You strike first. I'll draw his attention. Shoot ya.
So I'm going to stand in front of this damage just so you guys can see. Yep, so there you go, so he did an interrupting thing, so therefore we get nature locked, and a lot of our spells are nature based, so that would really mess you up in a proper boss fight. So here I'll stand in front of this as well. Shockwave, bang. So that takes damage. Well, we got it done because prologue. So I'll cast a healing spell on myself. Get the juicy loot. So I have it that if I have nothing selected and I push a healing spell, it will instantly self-cast on myself, which is really handy to do, to set that up.
These rituals.
Like I said, it's a very easy dungeon. It's just a very starter, just to get you into the idea of it. Yeah, so I'm just going to go in bear form. Like you can see, I'm taking pretty much no damage. Yeah, we're just working, absolutely working as well. Normally, if we're doing a normal dungeon, I wouldn't be the aggressor. I wouldn't be going in as the damage or trying to do damage or trying to do the bear form. I would purely just be healing. If you go into, so say I went into my bear form in a normal dungeon, I would take that aggro off the tank, which would potentially kill everyone because, you know, the tanks, he's spec'd in the tanking. I would just get absolutely destroyed. So really my job as the healer, or your job as the healer, is just to hang back. If you can cast a couple of damage spells, if you're feeling cheeky, do it. You can, it's fine. But our whole job is just to make sure people stay alive, and that people will survive the massive amounts of damage that bosses will do with their mechanics. And obviously, the harder you go, these bosses will one-shot if you're not paying attention. You know, so you really do have to know the mechanics of the dungeon, which you'll learn over time. You know, you'll learn that over time, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a nice introduction. So he's dead, he's going to summon this dragon, and this will be the final boss that we have to kill.
Did we stop him?
So we've got a rogue down there, she's a rogue, and we've got a hunter. So two DPS classes, two very different DPS classes. But we'll just smash this guy with Wrath, I think. So there you go, he hit me with his special because I was just standing there. So the more you do dungeons, especially boss fights, moving around can be very, very helpful. If you get used to running around and casting spells and running around casting spells, Obviously, some spells you will have to be stationary when you're casting your healing spells. So as a healer, it's very important that you don't stand in all the death stuff. You know, all his AoE and all that sort of cool stuff. But you got to learn somehow. You just got to do it and learn it. You know, so you don't get too worked up if you're worried you're gonna, you know, tank the whole group. It's gonna happen. You know, you're gonna get good groups. You're gonna get bad groups. You know, you're gonna get tanks that want to take on the whole dungeon in 5 seconds because they're trying to win some sort of speed race. You know, you're gonna get those sort of groups, and that's fine.
The Horde
But you just deal with it.
Worse than this.
You just go at the pace you want to go at, heal at the pace you can, and you'll eventually get better. If you keep doing dungeons, you keep leveling up, that sort of cool stuff, you'll be fine. So we're done with the prologue now, so we'll jump on this wyvern and we'll go leave, and we'll go to the main island. We'll start the adventure.
To think those brutes could wield such magic.
This tutorial island is much better than, I mean, I love the vanilla, like the very first,
I am glad
you know,
that
the
you
way
do
of doing
not.
things, but that's just nostalgic.
This island
This
must
is
be
very
allowed
good because
to
it's very, it's put well together. It's a lot of XP. You know, you get to
Look, on
level
the
11
horizon,
quite easily,
one of our
level 10
gunships.
very easily. You know,
An
back in the
impressive
vanilla days,
display
that
of
would
the
have taken
Horde's
you a good
strength.
part of a week
Those
to do
ogres
that.
would do well to run and hide.
So, you know, there are bonuses to playing retail WoW. And what I mean by that is obviously,
It is time
you
we
know, you've
return
got,
to
if
our
you guys
home.
ever play RuneScape, you know, you've got old school RuneScape, which is grindy as hell, hard as hell. And then you've obviously got retail RuneScape, you know, which is what RuneScape is currently at. Same as WoW. You've got retail WoW, which is well within, and all those other expansions. And then you've got old school WoW, which, you know, which people are still playing, which is, you know, really, really fun. You can quickly see the map there of different expansions.
Orgrimmar, bulwark of the mighty Horde. Standing as a symbol of pride and resilience, it is here that its citizens gather to barter goods and muster their strength. Their longtime rival, the Imperious Alliance, poses a relentless threat. But no foe can hope to stand against the fearless soldiers of the Horde. As one of the wise and noble Tauren, your physical might and spiritual resolve honor the legacy of your ancestors. Azeroth faces countless threats. Bold heroes are needed to rise up and defend her. For the Horde!
I've watched that tutorial so many times and it gets me pumped so bad for Horde. It's so good. This is Orgrimmar. So this is like, you know, the base of operations for Horde. It's one of the main, well, is one of the main cities. So we'll skip that tutorial stuff because I've done that a million times. You guys don't need to see that.
The Dragon Isles have awakened. And
But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. You know, like I said, it's going to be a bit of a guide / series. But we'll see you in the next one, guys. We'll get stuck into it. Okay, bye.